here's Psaki again, claiming something we know is false, that when the government hikes taxes on businesses, Biden wants to hike the corporate tax from 21 to 28%. That's a huge hit. The claim here by Psaki is that it's unfair and absurd that companies would somehow increase their costs then to compensate for the higher taxes to consumers. Has Psaki ever read anything? And the answer is yes, of course she has. She's just lying to you again. I'll prove it in a second. Here, check this out.
I want to ask you about what Republicans are pointing to in the analysis from the Joint Committee on Taxation. They say, according to, if I've read the chart correctly, more than 16% of taxpayers would see their taxes increase under the bill that's approved by the House Ways and Means Committee. Will the president sign that bill as it is coming out of that committee, or will he insist on the changes so that he will maintain his commitment that taxes won't go up on people making $400,000 a year?
I have not looked at the document or the report that you have put out. Obviously, the president, or that you have referenced, I should say, that the Republicans put out. Obviously, the president's commitment remains not raising taxes for anyone making less than $400,000 a year. There are some, and I'm not sure if this is the case in this report, who argue that in the past, companies have passed on these costs to consumers. I'm not sure if that's the argument being made in this report. We feel that that's unfair and absurd, and the American people would not stand for that. But I will take a closer look at this report and get you a more substantive response. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, my gosh. Folks, where do you think businesses get their money from? They get their money from consumers. If the government then removes money from a business that has to create a profit margin, there's only a few places to take it from. You can take it from shareholders. There goes your pension. You could take it from consumers who have to pay more in prices, or you could take it for the employees of the company who get less in wages. I'm just curious. I'm not messing around. Okay. I'm not being serious for a second. I know like sarcasm is thick in this show. Is that hard to understand? If you're a leftist listening to my show for the first time, is that complicated for you to understand? Can you tell me where else businesses get money to pay taxes? Consumers, shareholders, or the employees of the company? Can you tell me a fourth place? Of course you can. So when Jen Psaki claims that businesses are going to pay more taxes, as if businesses are these like ethereal, otherworldly entities that fabricate money out of thin air, she thinks you're an idiot. Here, please read this in the show notes. It's important. It's a Tax Policy Center article. It's very good. It's short. It's sweet. It's not econometrically centered where you got to have an advanced economics degree to read it. Folks, it makes a very simple point here. Corporate taxes, who pays them and when? So when Biden hikes the business tax, who pays the business tax? Well, again, it goes back to the three people I told you, and they're all you. Here, from the piece, the Tax Policy Center assumes that 80% of the burden falls on capital and shareholders, while labor bears about 20% of the tax hike. This view is shared roughly by the CBO and the Congressional Joint Committee on Taxation. They explain why, and they link to a paper. Others think workers pay far more of the corporate tax. For example, Kevin Hassett, who worked in the Trump administration, argues that workers may bear the entire corporate tax or even more. Thus, he argued during a debate over the Trump tax cuts, lowering income tax rates would boost average annual household salaries or wages. Well, it's convenient that wages did go up in the Trump administration during the tax cut time. Folks, you're paying either way. You're either paying through your pension, your stock holdings, as an employee of a company anywhere in America whose wages are going to be less, or as a consumer. I don't know why this is difficult to understand for the left. And the answer is it isn't. Psaki knows she's lying. She just demonizes people. And keep in mind, companies can only do three things with their money. Companies can either invest it in the company, invest it in another company, or pay it out as dividends. That's it. That's where it goes. Those three places. So you're either investing less in your company too, which again hurts the employees. You're either investing in less in other companies, which hurts other employees or in shareholders, or you're investing less in dividends, which hurts your pension fund and your stock investments. You're a loser either way. I'm not calling you personally a loser. I'm saying you're an economic loser. Either way, no way around it. Either way, I promise you lose. Yeah. Guy said, good point, Joe. Guy said, I thought the left was pro-worker. Come on, Guy. As Coach Stan used to say, stop the insanity. We know the left loves one thing only. That's stealing your money. They're obsessed with it. But good point, Guy.